Emotional regulation is not the ability to stay calm all the time. It is the ability to notice an emotion, understand what it is asking for, and choose a response that does not make the situation worse. A regulated person can still feel anger, fear, sadness, or shame. They just have more room between feeling and action. This matters because sleep loss shows why the small print, body signal, deadline, or incentive cannot be skipped. The situation changes when regulated anger still needs expression. Think about a driver who gets cut off in traffic. The first reaction may be heat in the chest, a clenched jaw, and a burst of anger. Regulation does not erase that reaction. It helps the driver avoid turning one reckless moment into yelling, tailgating, or a dangerous chase. A repair sentence can stop the moment from becoming larger than it needs to be. Another real-world clue is that sleep changes emotional threshold. Emotions arrive with body signals. Anxiety may show up as tight shoulders. Anger may bring pressure in the face. Sadness may slow the body down. Many people try to argue with the emotion immediately, but regulation often starts earlier, by noticing the physical signal before it takes over. The risk becomes clearer when jealousy explains why two similar situations can lead to different outcomes. The decision improves when repair keeps one reaction from becoming a pattern. Naming the emotion changes the experience. Saying, "I am embarrassed," is different from exploding at someone nearby. Saying, "I feel threatened," is different from accusing everyone of disrespect. A named emotion becomes something you can work with instead of something that silently drives the whole scene. Jealousy becomes easier to handle when the person can say what they fear instead of turning fear into accusation. A common misunderstanding is that regulation means suppression. Suppression pushes the emotion down and pretends nothing happened. Regulation pays attention without obeying every impulse. Someone can feel furious and still say, "I need 10 minutes before we continue this conversation." A person can notice this when jealousy shows why the small print, body signal, deadline, or incentive cannot be skipped. The nervous system matters here. When the body enters fight, flight, freeze, or shutdown, the thinking brain becomes less flexible. That is why advice given during peak emotion often fails. The person may understand the advice later, but in the moment the body is preparing for protection, not reflection. A feedback meeting is harder to handle when the body is already flooded, because even useful criticism can sound like attack. Breathing helps not because it is magical, but because it sends the body a signal that immediate danger may be lower than it feels. Slower breathing, unclenching the hands, drinking water, or stepping outside can reduce intensity enough for better choices to come back online. The useful comparison is sleep loss explains why two similar situations can lead to different outcomes. Regulation also includes choosing the right time. A couple trying to solve money problems at midnight after a long day may keep hurting each other. The same conversation on a calmer morning, with bills open and phones away, can become practical instead of explosive. A shopping impulse is easier to handle when the person notices the emotion behind it before reaching for the card. Children learn regulation from co-regulation first. A child who is overwhelmed borrows calm from a steady adult voice, predictable limits, and safe presence. Adults still need versions of that too. A grounded friend, a quiet room, a walk, or a routine that helps the body return to balance. Impulse control is only one part. Regulation also means allowing grief, disappointment, or fear to move through without immediately escaping into shopping, scrolling, blaming, overeating, or shutting down. Some emotions need comfort. Others need boundaries. Some need action after the body settles. A practical example is receiving critical feedback at work. The unregulated reaction might be defensiveness, explaining, interrupting, or attacking the person who gave feedback. A regulated response might be, "I need to think about this, can we review the examples?" That sentence protects dignity and keeps the door open. Another example is jealousy. Jealousy can point to insecurity, a broken agreement, or fear of losing connection. If it turns into interrogation, it damages trust. If it is regulated, the person can ask for reassurance or clarity without treating their partner like a suspect. Regulation does not mean every feeling is accurate. Feelings are real experiences, but they are not always perfect reports of reality. A person may feel rejected because a friend replied late, even if the friend was busy. Regulation makes space to check facts before building a story. Environment can make regulation easier or harder. Hunger, lack of sleep, alcohol, chronic stress, clutter, noise, and constant notifications lower the threshold for reaction. Sometimes the most mature emotional strategy is not a deep insight. It is eating, sleeping, reducing overload, and not starting a fight while exhausted. Language matters during strong emotion. Always, never, everyone, and nobody often make the nervous system more rigid. More accurate words help. I felt dismissed in that meeting, or I am worried about the bill, or I need clearer plans. Specific language lowers drama without denying the feeling. Repair is part of regulation too. Nobody stays regulated perfectly. The skill is returning after a poor reaction and saying, I spoke too sharply, or I shut down earlier, or I want to try that again. Repair teaches the brain that mistakes do not have to become permanent damage. Some people over-regulate by becoming too controlled. They speak calmly but disconnect from their real feelings. That can look mature from the outside, but the body may still store resentment. Healthy regulation includes expression, not just composure. A simple practice is to ask 3 questions. What am I feeling? What does my body want to do? And what response will I respect tomorrow? Those questions create a small pause. The pause is often where emotional maturity begins. In relationships, regulation protects trust. A partner who can say, I am upset and I need a moment, is easier to trust than someone who explodes or disappears without explanation. The emotion is not the problem by itself. The unmanaged reaction creates the damage. Over time, regulation becomes a form of self-respect. You stop handing every mood the steering wheel. You still listen to emotions, because they carry information, but you do not let every surge decide your words, money, relationships, or future. Regulation also changes money decisions. A person who shops while angry, ashamed, or lonely may buy relief rather than something they truly need. Waiting until the emotion settles can reveal whether the purchase solves a real problem or only covers a painful feeling for an hour. The skill improves through repetition, not one dramatic breakthrough. Each time someone pauses before sending the harsh message, returns after cooling down, or names fear instead of attacking, the brain learns a different route. That route becomes easier when practiced during ordinary stress. Emotional regulation is the skill of staying connected to yourself while choosing behavior carefully. It is not coldness, silence, or pretending to be fine. It is the ability to feel something fully enough to understand it, and steadily enough to respond wisely.